Welcome ladies and gentlemen, this will be my second Raid Shadow Legends video and today I will be covering Rearguard Sergeant. But first let me introduce myself very quickly and tell you something more about my background. So my name is Besmir, or short Bes. I do stream on Twitch, although not a veteran even there. I started my Twitch channel on May 2020 this year. I usually stream account takeovers, which I do for free. The only requirement is to watch my channel and be active in chat if you feel. You will find the Twitch link below in the description. I would appreciate if you decide to follow or just come and check my streams out when I go online. I don't have a fixed schedule at the moment. I usually go live on weekdays at 5 PM Central European Time. I live in Europe, in Sweden. That will be basically early morning for the US folks that are watching. And on a weekend when I have free time basically. So what brought me on YouTube? The trigger was a contest Plarium started a few days ago, the Guides contest, which is basically what I do daily on my stream. So I decided to give my humble contribute. The fact that raid content is quite well covered on YouTube was my main concern. That's why I didn't start doing YouTube earlier, as I didn't want to come here and just release another copy of a copy of a copy of some champion or content that already has thousands of videos about. And my thought was to release something only if it brings an additional value to the community that can actually help someone. Now, let's be honest, there are a lot of guides out there that's true, right? But how many of them use human gear and not god tier gear? Not many, right? That's why I hope my videos will help people who are in the same situation as me and have to deal with bad rolls every day and forced to use them anyway. To use those items. But okay, enough talking about me. Let's see what can this tiny dwarf do for you. Rearguard Sergeant is a support champion, right? Defense based, and we all know that defense based champions in this game have a huge advantage. What is the advantage? You can make them tanky, and at the same time they will hit hard, basically like a DPS. She has very good multipliers on her A1 and A2 and can provide a lot of sustain with ally protect and heals. So let's start from the end and let's see her in action against clan boss. Later I will show you her gear, masteries, and what stats you should focus on. Right? So here we are basically attacking UNM Void. As we can see, we're trying her on UNM, and my team is basically the following. You can see Martyr lead. I use Radzin as DPS and debuff. I built him with a lot of crit damage. Then I have OB for the poisons. For poison, we can use here Frozen Bench. I guess Frozen Banshee perhaps will be a bit more efficient against Void, and because I use counter attack, and counter attack Frozen Banshee gives the best with counter attack. I'm using Sepulture Sentinel as tag down champ, and she's tuned 4-3 for the block debuffs. She's also my block debuff, so to avoid the stun. And so what is Rearguard doing? Rearguard doing in my composition? She's providing sustain, and she will be backup. If you build her with some accuracy, she will provide some backup attack down and defense down. Her A1 has a defense down and her A2 has an attack down. My Rearguard is not built for accuracy. It's not built to land debuffs. I'm not relying on her debuffs. I have Razin and Marty for that. I built her DPS and tanky. So basically she has 200 plus crit damage, 100% crit rate on 99 I think, some decent defense. We'll see later the stats. Let's see how it works on clan boss, right? Let's go. So yeah, basically I'm using Frozen Banshee here because of the reasons I explained earlier. How does the setup work on this composition? Basically Sepulture, having Sepulture tuned 4-3, we need to skip the first 2 AoEs and wait the stun before we start our rotation with the debuffs and the poison sensitivity and stuff. So basically Sepulture here goes A1, just to skip and not use A2 yet. Her A2 will be used after AoE 2, and everyone else will follow with basically A1s. Frozen Banshee A1, as we can see. Rearguard we wait, we don't use A2 yet, because we are on Void, and Void AoE, yeah, we will try to use her Ally Protect to cover both AoEs, even though ideally you want to cover at least the second one. We keep skipping, keep using A1. Now after AoE 2 is time for Sepulture. We can use A2 on Rearguard here just for that. She will not land because mine is not built for accuracy. Sepulture here will use block debuffs, so the stun wherever it goes, it doesn't land. The boss goes on Martyr, she's the lead, and of course it gets blocked. Now it's time to start our rotation, so basically we use sensitivity, poison sensitivity. Sepulture only can use A1, and now we put Ally Protect from Rearguard after the stun. Razin uses A2 for the debuffs, and from now basically we can hit auto. Everything here is auto, starting from here is auto, so all you need in a setup like mine with a 4-3 champ is to manual 3 turns. So let's speed this up and see how does it go. Right? Let's go a bit faster because, I mean, we want to see what is the damage output, right? As we can see, the poisons are there basically on both AoEs. Another poisoner here will risk to over debuff and not let free space for the attack down to land. But we can see that Rearguard is doing some serious damage. When she hits for 100k, 90k, 70k here on counter attack, 99 we see. She is bringing some serious damage. She is very underrated in my opinion when it comes to damage. She's a support. Okay, she brings auto sustain, but she can hit hard. And you don't need the good thing is that you don't need crazy gear for that to happen. You can achieve this with very normal and human gear. So we are turn 15, 16, whatever it is. We are behind. I usually tend to be 1 turn, 1 mil, but having to skip the first 3 turns, this leads us into being a bit behind with the damage. So this composition, the goal is to 3 key. I don't have the gear, and actually the composition itself, it's not built for 2 keying it. With some god tier gear, of course, you can 2 key this. With this composition, definitely you can reach 35 mil on UNM. So Rearguard is starting to get some serious damage. That's why she needs a lot of HP. Later I'll show you her build. Because Ally Protect, she will absorb a lot of damage from the other guys that are hit. And the more we get into the fight, the higher we get in with turns, with clan boss turns, the harder he will hit. So far we managed to reach, I guess, turn 30, right? We're about to hit turn 30 and everyone looks still healthy. Yeah. She can absorb quite well the AoE 1. AoE 2 is a bit risky. See? She's actually about to follow. We lost Razin. I think attack down dropped. I didn't pay attention there. But we lost Razin, so this is not good. We lost our main DPS if we exclude poisons. But they are still going. Rearguard is still absorbing. Turn 35, she can still take it. She can still handle it. Absolutely no problem. Okay, she fell now, turn 37, and everyone basically died at turn 38, right? 37, whatever it was. The output, the final output is 33 mil. 33 mil. Which is almost 2 key. And we can see here her damage was 4.5 mil. More than Sepulture. A little bit behind Martyr, but this is some serious damage. For a support champ, she Guys, remember, she loses one turn when she uses a life protect. In that turn, she doesn't attack. Well, the same happens with Martyr, but Martyr has higher multipliers since she's a legendary. By the way, let's see how did I build her, so we can explain her stats and what do you need on her. So lifesteal and speed, right? Lifesteal and speed, depending on the composition you're using, you need to reach a certain amount of speed. Let's say you're using a 4-3 champ, then you need to be between 171 and 178 in order to have a 4-3 champ to work. And I have Sepulcher. So she's basically 175 in this comp. Okay. As we can see, 175, 99 crit rate, 219 crit damage. Because I was focusing on her damage. I wanted her to deal some serious damage. I didn't sleep. I didn't neglect her HP and defense though, even though you can have more here, 3.5, 53k HP, and as we saw earlier, she was able to handle till turn 37 with those stats. Accuracy is basically nothing because I didn't care about her debuffs. I had Radzin and Sepulcher and Martyr. But if you want to build her accuracy, that's perfectly fine. You most likely will have to lose some crit damage or crit rate. I wouldn't recommend to lose crit rate. You can drop some crit damage here for more accuracy if you need her to be a backup defense down or attack down. But try to be as high as possible with crit damage because she can slap. So the rest of the guys are basically Frozen Banshees built tanky with a lot of accuracy. The same speed as Rearguard, that's not a problem. A lot of defense, as you can see, and some decent HP. Sepulcher, of course, she's our attack down, so I focus more on her accuracy. She's 250. She's a bit on the edge. You might want a bit more. She doesn't have big defense. That's what scares me. But having to build her 230 speeds is not easy, guys, with human gear yet again to min-max all the stats. Having to build her 230 speed, I had to neglect some defense and HP. But she's 100% crit, which I'm quite proud about. Everyone is in lifesteal. So Martyr is built to eat the stun. So basically she has quite decent defense, not crazy high, because I also wanted her to hit. So I try to balance her defense. HP, you don't want this to be too high because she will be eating the stun, and the stun hit from the boss is max HP based. So 37k HP, 4k, 4.1k defense, 171 speed, right the exact amount, the minimum amount she needs for the speed tune I'm using to work. Crit rate 100%, crit damage 206%. Accuracy is a bit low, but when she hits that defense down after the debuffs from Radzin have expired, it's handy. Not counting on her though. I couldn't get this higher, that's basically the truth. Now, Radzin is built with some decent defense, not crazy high again, just because I like him to hit hard, or her. Someone thinks it's a she. Anyway, HP is 43k, and accuracy, I could have this higher actually. I might want to boost this a bit. You might want this 250 plus. Crit damage, it's quite decent for a damage dealer, and this Radzin slaps. Skills. She needs to be booked on her A3, mandatory. She cannot work for this kind of comp without books on A3. You can avoid booking if the books don't land on A2, that's perfectly fine for this build. A1 is recommended to be booked for that 10%, but not mandatory yet, again. And that was basically it about Rearguard. So, if you guys want to use her, she's a carry. She can be useful in other content as well, in other scenarios like dungeons, AoE attack down on A2. For that you need accuracy though. And delay protect. If you're struggling with some dungeons, even mid game, she can carry you quite in a good way. And last but not least, Faction Wars. She's amazing on Faction Wars, and we don't have many dwarves there, so if you build her for clan boss, you will never regret her. She'll be very useful, even late game. And if you have her in your roster, in your vault, take her out, level her up right now, rank her up, book, whatever you do, Masteries, finish her. She is amazing. If you need this kind of support, this kind of sustain, work on her, use her. She's very underrated and she's very fun. Well, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this tiny little carry. And I will see you guys on the next guide or the next video. We'll see what content can I cover with the next one. Stick around and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are liking this, if you like the content, and just if you want to tell me somehow that you want me to bring something more on the channel. Like the video, subscribe, see you guys on the next one. Cheers!